Welcome to Reflections. My name is Claudia. Whether it is related to relationships, work, study, illnesses, life changes, or general daily duties, or of course a combination of all of these, stress can happen to anyone. So how do you know that you're suffering, and how can you manage it? The symptoms of stress can fluctuate between each individual, but here are some common symptoms to be aware of. Irritability or moodiness, interrupted sleep, worrying or feelings of anxiety, back, neck or chest pain, frequent headaches minor to migraine, upset stomach, increased blood pressure, changes in appetite, rashes or skin breakouts, making existing physical problems worse, or being more susceptible to cold and flu symptoms and slower recovery. In today's reflections piece, we are going to explore 5 ways to manage stress. Firstly, identify your stresses. By understanding our stresses better, this empowers us to be able to make small changes that are going to be effective in the long run. It's important to keep a log with any challenges that we might face in our life, whether it be on your phone or on a little notepad. By jotting things down, it allows us to sit down, have a think about it, and formulate a plan of action as to how we can work around some of the stresses in our life. Stresses can either be solvable or unsolvable. By jotting them down throughout the day or throughout your week, it allows you to really figure out whether there's something that you can do about these stresses. And if you can, formulating a plan going forward allows you to feel motivated, empowered, and driven to be able to handle any challenges or stresses that come forward. The second tip is physical movement or exercise. As we know, stress releases hormones in our body that really cause havoc on our mood, on our concentration, our ability to focus, on our memory, and actually productivity throughout our day. By engaging in physical movement or exercise, this allows our body to release feel-good hormones. The feel-good hormones counteract the cortisol or the stress hormones in our body. The reason why physical activity is also important is because by helping our heart pump faster or pound faster, it actually allows fresh oxygen to move around our body and therefore give us a awake feeling that allows us to be more focused and concentrate on the things that we need to. We want to make sure that our movement is gentle and really based on what our body can do. We know certain individuals do have limitations, physical limitations, and we want to make sure we're kind to our body, that this is something that's an enjoyable activity rather than something so vigorous that we don't actually enjoy it. Some examples of physical movement include walking, running, it could be dancing in your room, star jumps, playing with your children or your dog or cat even if it likes to play. Anything that allows the heart to beat a little bit faster, to really move around that fresh oxygen that we need for our organs to be up and awake and our mind to start being activated to be more focused, concentrate a little bit better and be a little bit more active. Tip number 3 is taking time out. It's very common for us to think that relaxing or taking a break is doing nothing. But let me assure you, for us to be able to work at our optimum levels, we actually need to take a break. We need to stop, we need to breathe, we need to relax. Otherwise, our body and our brain is not going to be capable enough to handle the pressures of our lifestyles. So when you think about taking a break, we need to consider what would be most effective to our body and our brain at that time. Our body or our brain might require something that's a little bit more calming and relaxing. Some examples might be sleep, it might be having a tea or a coffee, sitting down with your friend or your partner, having a chat or a talk, being able to just have a rest. Sometimes our body needs to recharge and recuperate, so we need something a little bit more active to be able to take a break. And that really depends on what you have access to. Again, that might go in nicely with our second tip for today, which is exercise and movement, or it might be an activity that just is something that you really enjoy doing. Some examples include playing a sport. It might be, again, listening to music. It might be eating, so that might recharge your body a little bit more than, let's say, sleeping would. See what you may need based on what you can tap into, especially if you've done tip number 1, identifying your triggers. Tip number 4, do we solve it or do we leave it? What do we do? There are going to be stresses that you can do something about, so learning how to effectively problem solve really helps you out to really nut out what is the best course of action going forward. An effective way of being able to problem solve is having a think about some of the solutions to the actual stressor, trigger, or problem. Looking at pros and cons for each of those solutions, and then putting in place an action plan and setting a review for yourself to see whether that plan was effective. The other thing we need to do, especially to the unsolvable type of stresses or triggers, is to be able to practice acceptance and letting go. That sometimes we can't do much about the actual trigger, and it's more so work within ourselves to be able to let go of the things that we can't control. The 5th and final tip is practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being in the here and the now. We know that when we are stressed or worried about things, we're either worrying about things from the past or worrying about things from the future. Practicing how to stay in the here and the now allows us to ground ourselves, really get an interaction with what's happening in our environment, pick up clues of things that we can incorporate in our action plan going forward, and remind ourselves what we can and can't control. We have a mindfulness meditation video for you to watch, so check out our videos, or of course subscribe to any future mindfulness meditation videos that we will have coming up. Research supports that mindfulness decreases our stress levels and our worry time. It allows us to build focus and concentration and memory. The benefits of mindfulness are endless. So there you have it, 5 tips to manage your stress. If you have found our tips helpful, please leave us a comment below. If you'd like to share any other tips to help manage stress, again, please leave a comment below. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with your family and friends. And for more, don't forget to subscribe. Look after yourselves, take care, and see you soon.